What do we got here then? Just a random collection of old Amal Monobloc carburetors. 389s are they, by the looks of them? Well, look a little bit closer and you might be in for a bit of a surprise. We have got on the left hand side a 389 monobloc. Look at that one in the middle. There's something funny about that, isn't there? It's almost a mirror image of that one. That is because this is a rather rare 689, and it is indeed a mirror image of the more commonly found 389, and it's a mirror image to such an extent that even the jet block and the throttle slide are unique to it. You can't swap from one to the other because they're handed. Obviously you've got your throttle stop screws on opposite sides as well, and even the sort of notch, the guide for the slide is on opposite sides. So there's a couple of things unique to the 689, including obviously the body of it for a start off, but also the throttle slide and the jet block as well. Most other things, jets and throttle valve springs and even floats, are actually interchangeable. In fact, these two have got brass floats in them, both of the same type, and although they are identical, that surprised me, because when you consider the later sort of plastic floats which have an offset just like the brass ones do, they're marked front. You've got to fit them one way round. Well, this float will definitely serve the 389 and the 689. You can sort of flip it over. It's got a face on either side to bear against the float needle. But the brass ones, even though they're offset, I found the same type of brass one in each of those, so form your own conclusions there. They both look like they work alright in either type, regardless of being the same, so a bit of a strange one there. But if you should need a replacement float for a 689, one of these will do the job, definitely. Right, so what about the third one? Well, the third one is actually a Spanish one, and it's an Amal 389/30. It's actually a 30mm carburetor, and there's differences, quite considerable differences. Look at the bottom of the jet holders and their nuts on the British ones there, the 389 and the 689. We come to this one and we've just got this domed hexagon. So let's see what's in it. Well, we've got the same main jet as you might expect to find, whatever size, as in these two. But the jet holder itself, let's see if I can get a bit of light in there. That's a brass item, and it's got like a large screwdriver slot in it to get that out. So presumably you get that out and the needle jet will be on the other end of it. Also, we've got this little, what looks like an opening there, although it doesn't go through to the float chamber, and there's no threads in it. I suspect that might be somewhere that could have been drilled and tapped to maybe link across to a carburetor on the opposite side, perhaps to work as a pair without another float chamber. I don't know, but that's another little difference. Everything inside here is the same as what you'd expect to see. Let's have a look in there, shall we? I loosened these off previously just to make this job easier, but here we go. There's the third one coming out. So this is actually a 30mm monobloc, and it was intended for like bull tacos, Montesas, Ossas, that sort of thing. All pretty sort of much what you'd expect to see in there. And like I say, here's the 689. We take the float chamber cover off this one. Have a little look inside there. Won't take me a minute. The screws are already loosened off on this one as well. But I just thought that perhaps this would be of interest, because these carburetors can and do crop up, and sometimes it might have you sort of left scratching your head a little bit. There we are. That's the insides of that one. The opposite way round to that one, and indeed this one as well, which, as you can see by the fuel entry for the float needle, is the same as the metric 389/30, but itself a mirror image to the 689. Let's get this cover off if I can. Might be racing against the camera battery a bit here. It's time I invested in some new ones. They're not so hot as they used to be. I think we've got enough left to cover this. Get this off and we'll have a good look. There we are. You can see the 389 has the float pivoting that way, or the 689 has it that way, and that is because fitted to a machine you'd have the 689 to pair up with the 389. I think on some Royal Enfield 750 Interceptors, I've seen them on some BSA A65 Lightnings. I'm not sure if maybe some Nortons may have also used them, but that's what the intention was, to get them close together and have a float chamber each, because more often than not you might have a pair and one might have a chopped down float chamber which would rely on the one that had the full size float chamber. So this was a way of having two fully operational and independent float chambers and getting the carburetors closer together than you would if you had a float chamber sticking out this side trying to shove that one out the way. And I think lastly, another little interesting thing, I'll just get the throttle slide out of the metric, the Spanish 38930, because that's totally different as well and worth a little look. Let's see. Here it comes. As you can see, it looks more like the slide from a Mark 1 concentric, but again, it's totally unique to this type of monoblock. And also inside it, if we look, there's no jet block. You would have a jet block inside the British ones. Nothing in this one, so quite a little bit different. And I just thought that this is not going to be a comprehensive guide to what anyone's got or what to look for or whatever. It's just me looking at a few old carburetors, got that the wrong way around, there we go, and pointing out some of the subtle differences that you can get, and what a range of things that Amal actually made that people might not be fully aware of. So either it might have been of interest to some, I hope it will be. If it bored you all to tears, I'm very sorry, but it's covered now and I won't have to go over it again. But there's three Amal monoblock carburetors which at a glance you might not sort of get your attention drawn too much to them, but look a little bit closer and suddenly things could get very interesting if you're a bit of an anorak like me. Thanks for watching.